Hey everybody, this is Kevin Hill with Act Like Men 365. I am a Christian, a husband, a father, and a dog collector. And I'm coming to you, it is really late on August 16th, almost August 17th, in a few minutes here. And I just wanted to um, come on and I tried to record something earlier this afternoon and it just missed the mark, and I had more reading to do. And I wanted to come on and I wanted to talk about the situation in Afghanistan. Um, like I said, it's August 16th, 2021, and the news cycles will show that the Taliban is retaking the country at a unheard of pace. There's video of American planes taking off that are being swarmed as they're running down the runway. People are swarming these planes and trying to climb on the planes, and um, they're taking off. And there's video of people falling off the planes, certainly falling to their death. And there's nothing, no way to put it other than saying that it's absolutely tragic. Um, and that's one aspect of it. People who are willing to risk so much immediately, that there's so much panic that you're willing to hang on to the outside of an airplane. I mean, you're not going to hold on to Germany or wherever they're going. Um, and so that's one aspect of it. And we talked to, we did a little video a little while back about a sermon that Pastor Aaron gave about lament, and how lament is it's not just you know being sad about something, or you hear hashtag prayers for whatever. It's a genuine grief. It's a profound sadness. And um, even if what I just said about Afghanistan was all that there was, there were people swarming airplanes and falling off of airplanes where they were hanging on the outside. Even if that's all there was, that's enough to have lament, and to know that there's what's there is just not right. Um, that's not all that's there. I'm reading through news stories about the Christians that are left in the region. There's a big ministry push. U.S. forces have been there for 20 years. There's been a big ministry push, and Christians have gone in and built hospitals and schools and provided education, provided medical care, provided um, everything that a society could need. And they've gone in and they've propped up these societies, and they've had people convert to Christianity. Um, and those people are now in a danger that here in the U.S. we cannot fathom. The Christians that are there, are truly living in a Book of Acts scenario, where in the Book of Acts, where Paul's writing, and um, the church and the members of the church and the people of church, God's people, Christians, are at risk of legitimate persecution and being martyred for their cause, martyred, being killed for their belief, being murdered for their belief. And that is absolutely what's going on over there. So, different interviews and things that I've read, every Muslim background believer that has converted to Christianity knows the consequences of conversion. Islam's clear, the Quran is clear, the Hadith is clear. They give you 3 days to repent and turn back to Islam, or there is no mercy. What happens then is absolute, and it's final. Um, it's recently been upgraded to number 2 on the World Watch list for nations where believers face the most persecution and the most risk. Those of us that are here, we've got to pray for these people. Some are going to stay. They're going to stay. They're going to ride it out and continue to preach, and that's a courage and a bravery that is beyond most of us. I look at it as, there's a part where you want your faith to be bigger than your fear. And absolutely that is true. But when do you say, okay, this isn't just a fear that I have, that what if this bad thing happens, I'll still be okay. I'll still be all right. And when is it self-preservation? When is it, I don't need to die here? And these are the actual decisions that our brothers and sisters are making in Afghanistan, and the Afghan people who have helped them and who have converted and who have come to the truth and come to Jesus are at real a risk that, like I said, that we can't understand here. We can't we say things, the things are said on TV a lot, and things are said a lot where it's, this infringes on my religious liberty. Not like this. They're not. They're not comparable. They're not. These two things are not the same. And what we need to try to remember out of this is that these people went to live a tough life and to do the hard work of helping these people, of ministering to these people, living among them, and being that daily example that we talk about, that manhood practice where you are day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment, decision by decision, deciding to be the ambassador that believing in Jesus says that you are now called to be. They not only believe in that and are doing that, like I said, the overwhelming majority of the stories that I'm reading are that they're also going to stay, because the Afghan people that they've brought, that they've converted, and that they've brought and that have helped them, are at such significant risk, and so they are staying with those people, with their congregation, with their flock, with their brothers and sisters. And there are degrees of how bad it is. Of course, it is worse for women and children. The reverting to the old Islamic rule or law or whatever of, women can't go out unless they're accompanied by a male family member, and girls over a certain age cannot be educated in any kind of way, and just all these things. And those that are choosing to stay and choosing to be that beacon, they're choosing to be that lighthouse, and they're choosing to stay and minister and continue to preach the gospel and continue to do the work that God has called them to do. A lot of them are going to be called home because of it. And we need to pray for the people that are there, the people who are Christians, the people who are not Christians. We need to pray for all of them, because the situation there is like I said, there's not an appropriate way to speak about it that really conveys what's happening. What is, what are the things that are wrong there? There's not a way to talk about it that encompasses all of that. Um, we look at it, and we look at it through our own um, perspective. And so we need to look at this through lament, because this is something that's not right. And the events that are happening there should genuinely give you sadness and grief, because this is a loss of brothers and sisters that we're losing, the ones who voluntarily went and go and give of their time, their money, their skills, their lives. They invest their lives in spreading the gospel in a place where it's dangerous to do so. And it just became dangerous by 100-fold, more dangerous by at least 100-fold. And so where we have that tendency to hashtag prayers for Afghanistan, and then you just kind of go on, you don't think about it again. If I could ask anybody anything, I would ask that you take several times a day. God, watch over our brothers and sisters in Afghanistan. Jesus, please protect them, give them the peace of knowing that what they're doing is your work and your will. Give them peace in the discomfort and the fear and the horrors that are swirling around them. And, I'd ask that you do that several times a day. We can't pray for them enough. And so when we're praying, we have to look at this. You personally may be dealing with a great time. Things may be awesome for you. Career, family, your team is winning in whatever sport you follow, cricket or rugby or baseball or football, you're whatever it is. It's easy to worship in times that aren't real difficult for you. But we need to look at this as a time that is profoundly difficult for the church, for the body of believers. And pray for peace, pray for comfort, pray for safety for these people. And their staying behind is an act of bravery that, again, I'm not sure I understand. I really think that I don't. But in Aaron's sermon this past Sunday, he talked about bravery, about true bravery begins from a position of surrender, of knowing God is in control of this, and the way it turns out is okay. The way it turns out is correct. The way that it goes is the way that it needs to go. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And our brothers and sisters in Afghanistan are walking that out. We need to read. We need to learn their names. We need to know who they are. I have no doubt that as we've been on today, some of them have been being martyred. Guys, I love you. We're going to pour into this over the next week, 2 weeks. And, thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. Please be in prayer for our brothers and sisters in Afghanistan. Stay strong. Remember, be watchful. Stand firm in the faith. Act like men. Be strong. And let all that you do be done in love. I appreciate you guys. Please pray for our brothers and sisters in Afghanistan.